It's time for my third trip to the range with these MP45 bullets. Since I bought this 1911, I've tried these 200 grain Lee semi-wad cutters. I've shot a few of the 230 grain round ball factory rounds. And I've shot some 200 grain semi-wad cutters that Thorzak 777 sent me. I ran into a couple problems with extraction early on, but after a couple adjustments to the extractor, that part seems to be fixed. I then ordered this mold from MP Molds and I cast up these 225 grain round nose flat points. The first time I shot these MP bullets, I loaded them up to a cartridge overall length of 1.222 inches, and I shot them with a few different charges of E3 and Unique, and that gave these results. Then I loaded these up again, but I shortened the cartridge overall length to 1.172 inches. And that length came about by seating this bullet until this edge right here was down flush with the case mouth. For that range trip, the load showed a higher velocity than the previous trip, as was expected, but the velocity increase for the 4.5 grains of E3 was higher than I expected. I was hoping for 730 to 750 feet per second, but instead I got 876. Today, I'm going to reverse ladder load, or ladder load in decreasing amounts, and see if I can get back down to that low 700s velocity with E3. Based on the results from the last range trip, I've also loaded up about 30 rounds with 5.8 grains of Unique, and I'm hoping to get something in the range of 900 to 930 feet per second with that. I've increased the cartridge overall length by about 15 thousandths to 1.185 inches, and we'll see how that does. That's the 1.185, and this is the 1.222 that I originally started with.
$822, $810, $825, $804, $772, $768, $783, $778, $777, $713, $742, $753, $730, $732.
You may have noticed a band-aid on my hand. Since I rounded the edge on the grip safety back here, it seems to do just fine, but I did manage to scratch myself in the exact same spot doing something else, and I just put the band-aid on there to keep from further irritating it. It's been a couple days and it seems to be healing up just fine. Here's the results from the different E3 loads today. I started at 4.1 and worked my way down, even though this chart shows 3.5 first. As I've stated in the past, E3 performs very similar to Red Dot, but maybe just a hair faster. These were all 10-shot groups. 3.5 grains gave an average of 733 feet per second, 3.7 gave 776, 3.9, 814, and 4.1 gave an average of 832. I was hoping for something in the 730 to 750 range, and I did get that with 3.5 grains, but with the factory recoil spring, the ejected brass was landing on or near my head. Based on these results, I'm fairly confident that 3.6 grains will give me about 750 feet per second, and will likely be just enough power to eject the brass just a little bit further without going to a lighter recoil spring. And here's the velocities for those 4 loads again, but I've included the 2 previous results with 4.5 grains of E3 at the other overall lengths. seating depth matters. So now let's take a look at the 5.8 grains of Unique. For the 30 shots with 5.8 grains of Unique, I got an average velocity of 925 feet per second, at an extreme spread of 51 and a standard deviation of 11. I think I like this load. I did have two that failed to go fully into battery, and now that I've had this to the range a few times, it seems to be that the occasional failure to feed tends to be with the harder rounds. You might wonder why I don't stick with the 230 grain, 850 feet per second standard. And that's a valid question. Here's my current thinking. This bullet is 225 grains. That's only 5 grains lower than the standard 230 ball, but it's still lighter, and lighter bullets usually get shot faster than heavier bullets. Also, this is a cast bullet. Cast lead bullets have less friction in the barrel than copper jacketed bullets, so when loaded with the same powder charge, cast bullets usually have higher velocities than jacketed bullets. And this is a powder-coated bullet. Powder-coated bullets tend to shoot faster than similarly loaded, traditionally lubed cast bullets. So, lighter, cast, and powder-coated. Therefore faster than the 850. Really, it boils down to I want to and I can do it safely, so why not? I'm wondering though if this is a touch more power than is appropriate for this recoil spring. I believe the standard recoil spring that comes in these is 16 pounds, so I just ordered an 18.5 pound spring from Wolf Springs, and I'm hoping that cures this occasional failure to feed issue. Also, the brass from these rounds was being ejected 10 to 15 feet almost directly behind me, which I believe is another indication that I need to reduce the power or get a beefier spring. I'm excited to see what the new spring will do for me. I don't have any more plans to play with the overall length. I think I'll stick with that 1.185 inch. It seems to work well. And I now have the loads that will give me 750, 850, and 925 feet per second. I believe I will test these hollow points at all three of those velocities. And the first of those tests will be my next video with this 1911. Until then, thank you for watching, and God bless.